Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Mr.PvE and I'm going to be doing a short series of a few builds that I run for legendaries and just about anything really. I run my builds kind of funky, not the same as everybody else runs them. Some are pretty similar, and the reason I wanted to do it is because lately I've been playing a lot with randoms, and I feel like they use a lot of the builds that they see streamers use and content creators use. And those builds are amazing builds because you could see the potential and the damage output that they have, but they don't work for everybody because your playstyle may not be the same as that person's playstyle. And my whole point is not so much as what you're running, but how you're running it and how you're utilizing it and how you're making it your own to work with your playstyle. I don't expect anybody to copy what I'm doing. If you see it and you like what you see, make your own version of it, modify it to suit you best. Okay. So we're in here at the shooting range. We got it on heroic. We got my dude over here on elite. I would put it on boss, but this is not a DPS build, so there's not really a point to do that. As you can see by the little icon, it is a striker build, but it's a 4-piece striker build, backpack and chest, all skill tier with 2 BNAs, blue tier. But the way that I'm running it allows me to run it as a 6th tier skill build, allowing me to do healing with it. And so this build I would not consider a DPS build, and I would not consider it a heal build. It is a support build. It is to just push enough damage out to keep people at bay from pushing, as well as keeping your team healed up so that they're able to push their damage out. This build works really good with people who are running skill builds, especially if you have like 2 skill people, 1 tank or DPS person on your squad, and then you're running this. This works really good with that. There's ways you can move it around depending on what you're running. The last like 5 games that I played have been with groups that all 3 people other than myself were running full-on tank builds, which are great because they don't die. I don't have to worry about like, oh, having to pick up teammates. The problem with it is they don't immediately push out damage. While some tank builds can also push out damage now, they have to stack and they have to pretty much earn that damage. So it doesn't always work out well. And when you have 3 people running up trying to all kill people, they're taking kills away from one another. It's a big mess. People are running around. People are shooting but not hitting anything. So then I run this build and I take off the Kim launcher and I put a turret on there, and then I put my capacitor so I could stack and put out good damage with the capacitor while stacking up the damage on the turret. So it just kind of depends. I know it's a striker build. I don't use a shotgun. I don't use the AA-12, the rock and roll, the showstopper for you guys to remember Division 1. I don't use that because it's only short range, and the whole point is to keep them away from getting close to you. So I like using submachine guns to get my stacks. As you can see, it does do good damage, but it's not a DPS build. So if you're going out there trying to DPS the NPCs with this build, until you get fully stacked, or I would say at least to 100 stacks, don't start trying to DPS people with this build. This is just to keep people at bay. The way I'm running it right now is with the Vector and then a mechanical animal, because this will give you the chance to get overcharge, which will make your healing even stronger. And it actually still hits pretty damn hard. So as you can see, it hits hard. Even when you're not stacked all the way up, it still hits pretty damn hard. All right, so now we're gonna go over what I'm actually wearing. So I have 2-piece BNA and then the 4-piece striker. So let's go over the striker first. The backpack is crit damage. The gloves is repair. The knee pads is crit damage. The chest is crit damage. Now, if I could do it again, which I actually probably gonna start looking for the pieces, I would go 2 crit chance, 2 crit damage, avoid the repair skills altogether, because when you start playing with it and you realize that you're a support, you're not healer, you're not DPS, you don't need to push that much healing out. The healing that it's pushing out is actually pretty good. It's not amazing. Like I said, it's not a healing build, so it's not amazing. But you could take off the 20% and still be over 500,000 repair skill. And as long as you're, you know, hitting everybody every so often and stuff like that, you're fine. And then you're gonna have your hive out there also. That's also gonna be healing, so you don't really need the repair skills really. The BNA, the mask, is some armor. As you can see, it's not even maxed out or anything like that. On this build, the armor is just a bonus. Really, the main reason is for the skill haste and the skill tier from the 2-piece. And then I do have the name holster for that extra 15% weapon damage. And then it also has repair skills. Now, I happen to like it like this. I could still, as you can see, roll if I wanted to move something on it. But I haven't decided on what I want to put, if I want to increase the armor or whatever. So I just leave it the way it is. So nothing's really god rolled or anything. So if you get them and you want to optimize them or run something similar, then that's on you. This is the main way I've run this. And the reason for that is because I could push out damage. I can overcharge whenever I get those kills to push out even more healing. Kind of keep everybody at bay as well as keeping my team healed. So this is the main way that I like to run it. But another way you can run it if you want to push out more healing is you could actually switch the Dark Winter out, and you could put a Nog like this, because this will actually have a little bit more range and it still shoots relatively fast. And then I have crit chance and crit damage to really utilize the striker. And then whenever you're, you know, shooting or you see your teammates getting hurt, you could just pop up, get those headshots to activate the healing on it, and then pop your heals and keep everybody nice and topped off. So those are the two main submachine guns that I use, is either the Dark Winter or an AUG, a variant of the AUG, because of the range and the rate of fire with the healing. And then as far as your primary goes, you could run the mechanical animal. If you're running with a lot of people that are running tank builds and stuff like that, you might want to throw the capacitor on because of its talent, and also put turret. And then that way, as you're pushing out the damage, because this thing doesn't crit as much, because the way that I have it, that I'm running it, the crit chance is really low, so it doesn't crit as much. But when we're gonna put the shotgun just because we're in here, and it does stack up really fast, but you need to be really close to the person. That's what I don't like. So we're just gonna use it here to stack. So now with the capacitor, as you can see, when it does crit and you're hitting at the head, you're doing over a mil, just over a mil. And to the body, you're doing, what was that, 730? Yes, 737, something like that. So you do a lot of damage with this capacitor because of the talent on it, which is the 7.5 weapon damage for every yellow you have on. And since you have the 4 on here, and I believe it even counts the one from the tactician, you're able to hit harder with this gun than you would with any other gun. But this is, again, if you don't have a lot of DPS in your team and everybody's kind of running skills or tanks, not DPS but tanks, then you would switch the capacitor, put a turret here, and just rely on the healing from this, or keep your Kim and put the turret on. Just switch one of the two, but keep one of the healing. Another way you could run it is if you see that you have really good people running skills that are pushing out good amount of damage, and you got a really good tank or a really good DPS person. If you have the EB, go the EB route, because this thing, it just hits hard. See, like, it's not even stacked all the way up like the other one was. But again, the downfall to the EB and the capacitor is their crit chance. So for that, if you have the chameleon, this is a lot better because of the crit chance on it. And I'll show you real quick. This is at 34, but if you have the capacitor, 20, EB, 20. So just because of that, the chameleon is better. And also you get a lot more rate of fire, which allows you to stack it up quicker. And then if you're hitting those headshots and you're also doing the body shots, you'll see that this thing, even to the body, melts. And then when I play with the capacitor, because I do use it, it's probably my second favorite gun to use with this build. I like shooting at the legs, because when you shoot at the legs with the capacitor, or not the capacitor, the chameleon, you get that reload speed. And if you increase that reload speed, too bad you can't do it on here, but if you increase that reload speed, it just increases your damage per second. You're just pushing a lot more damage out because you're reloading a lot faster. And you got to remember that the striker allows you to reload faster as it is. So the faster you can get to reload, I believe you can get it down to where it takes you like a second to reload your gun. So then you just pop up, burst someone down, reload real quick, pop back up, burst the next guy down, and you're just rocking and rolling. So that's my variation of the striker for healing. It's a funky build. I've never seen anybody use it. I've had this build since the striker came out. The only difference now is that before I used to use 2 improvised pieces down here to get more skill haste. And then when the B&A came out, I thought it was too good to pass up on the 2-piece to give myself a little bit more survivability and be able to push out and get healing to where it needs to be because of the fact that you don't heal for as much. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any ideas or modifications that you guys would like to do to this, I'm always interested in just crazy builds that shouldn't be but are. Again, crazy looking build, but works really, really well. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. I hope you guys come back to see the rest of the stuff. I'm going to be trying to do a video a week. And I'm also going to try to keep these down to 10 minutes if I can through editing. All right, guys. You guys have a great one. See you on the next one.